Kristen Dombrowski. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person today, but I was hoping to make this short video to kind of preview where we're headed with MLSS screening process and celebrate the work we've done so far. First, I want to celebrate all the hard work we've all done to collect the required data for fall screening. At every grade level, we ask to have 3 pieces of data to triangulate student performance. Any 3 of the 4 above the line: PALS, MAP, running records, and/or a spelling inventory. All of you did an amazing job of collecting more than just that data. You dug right in to diagnostics and wanted to know more about your students in the area of early literacy skills, phonological awareness, and/or phonemic awareness and phonics. So much data was collected, and it's really helping us make decisions right now, and I just want to celebrate your tenacity at Blakewood. Step 1 of our screening process was pretty simple and very short in terms of time investment. All we had to do was look at each student and decide, is she or he on track based on our decision-making rules. For our students who are on track, for the moment, we're going to set them aside and we're just going to focus our attention on the students that we checked as either moderately below or well below. And we want to do some digging deeper to try to answer the question, why isn't he or she on track? That's where we might need to bring in more staff and specialists to really look at a student and think outside the box and determine what is it that student needs and what can we do for them. We might ask ourselves questions like, what story is this data telling us? What patterns or trends are we noticing? What are their relative needs? Are they making adequate growth when we look at their data over a period of time? Or have they stalled out in a certain area? And most importantly, can we identify a root cause? So when you're filling out step 2 of our MLSS screening process, for each student here, we want to fill out any services they receive. We want to break down their MAP score to look at whether or not they have an area that stands out as a particularly strong area of need. We want to look at their running record protocols with another person. We're very good, I think, at administering and analyzing running records by ourselves, but when we bring in any other person, they might help us see something that we didn't see because we share our expertise at Blakewood. So lastly, we want to look at their spelling inventory and see, or their PALS information, and see if that can help us understand their phonics needs as it triangulates to their running records and their MAP, because our research shows that these 3 pieces here all are connected. Spelling is not a standalone skill, and it impacts how we read and how efficiently and accurately we can read and decode. So when I'm looking at a student, I might start by looking at their MAP profile and see if their data history tells me a story. I also, as I mentioned, want to look carefully at that running record with my whole team, or at least with one other person. I might also look at their spelling development, because all students follow the same developmental pattern. It just might be at their own pace. And I want to see if which developmental level they're currently at, what their needs are, and how I can get them to the next level. This is a beautiful slide here. These are screenshots of all of the data, the diagnostic data that's been collected at every single grade level at Blakewood. You all dug right in and you wanted to understand what were some trends and needs across your class for specific individuals. You wanted to use this data right away to plan your instruction, to make small groups, and to paint a big picture of where you want to head with your students this year. Many or most of you actually are using this data for your SLO as well. I just think it's so beautiful, and I'm so very proud of you all. That will really ultimately help us with this next step, step 3. I'm not sure if you'll get to that today or if that's going to be our goal over the next week, but our final step is, now that we have all this information about our students who are moderately and well below, we need to match supports to their needs. This does look like an intervention because it is an intervention. For each student, we're going to pick a targeted skill. If you click on the arrow, you'll get just some really broad topics, and you just want to pick one that best fits that student's needs. It could be phonological awareness, it could be phonics, reading comprehension. If the targeted skill you want to work on isn't really there, something like a reading behavior, you could chat with me and we could make something specific that's more tailored to your needs. And then we need a desired outcome. In other words, how do we know that they're going to be successful at this? What are we going to measure, or what are we going to expect to see over the next 8 to 10 weeks? Then we're going to assign them an instructional plan, including what, when, and who is delivering it. It might not be the classroom teacher. You might have flexible grouping. You might be utilizing specialists. And then how are you going to progress monitor? That can get tricky, but please feel free to chat with me if you'd like to talk about some options for, especially maybe using Seesaw to help monitor student progress, and what results do we expect to see by spring. Below that, I have a list of all the different resources and strategies that I'm aware of being used in our school right now. Perhaps you want to think of something off the list or maybe even beyond. Right now we have some groups are using Hegarty, some are using Kilpatrick. We have Orton Gillingham at many grade levels, thanks to Renee and Nicole. Shout out to them for all their hard work. Some grade levels are using Making Words and or Words Their Way. Units of Study has a spiral called Phonics Small Group Instruction, and that makes a great resource as well. Some unnamed but just as important strategies could include book clubs, retelling ropes. Lexia has specific lessons that are assigned to students based on the needs they've identified. And of course, you can create targeted small group instruction, anything from blending drills, which I know are happening at several grade levels that are OG based. You might want to do orthographic mapping. Concepts of print is happening at kindergarten, warm and cold reads, repeated oral reading, really any strategy that you want to focus in small group instruction to help move your students forward. But our goal here is to be specific about what we expect, who and what and how it's going to be delivered, and how we're going to move students forward. I wish you all luck. Have a great day, and please chat me or message me with any questions you have.